So different, but so similar.
You just heard 6 fuzz pedals there, and I'm going to try with Pete's assistance to take you through kind of the origins of fuzz, what it is, and why you might want one. I guess the fuzz pedal's biggest claim to fame is that it was the first ever pedal as we know it that a guitar player might plug the guitar into before it went into their amplifier. It came around in the early 60s where legend has it there was a band plugging their guitar direct into a mixing console. The mixing console had some sort of fault on it that created a distorted guitar sound, and the guitar player went, I like that, and then he worked with an engineer to make it into a pedal, and that became the Maestro fuzz tone, which actually the example I've got on the right hand side is an original one here. That whole fuzz scene then kind of went off in many different directions, lots of things happening simultaneously. You had the tone bender guys, you had the Fuzz Face guys, you had the Big Muff thing, and then a ton of other stuff. So all this kind of happening within probably a 4 or 5 year period of each other. There's no internet at the time, there's no sort of necessarily
social media.
So people are just working this stuff out. And different guitar players are adopting different pedals, not necessarily because they tried a load and they really liked them, because that just happened to be the one that was available. If they were in London, maybe they could get that one. If they were in New York, maybe they could just get a different one.
How cool would that have been? No social media, no internet.
Pretty cool, right? Fuzz is very different to overdrive and distortion.
Absolutely.
It's not the sort of the smooth, controlled. I think when you get into overdrive and distortion, it's more about replicating the sound of an amplifier, overdriving in a very smooth way. Fuzz has a very transistory kind of broken, literally, if you can imagine, like a broken channel strip kind of vibe. And then guitar players all worked out that if you rolled the volume back or the tone back, or you played differently, or you plugged it into different amps, fuzz reacts very differently depending on the environment that you put it in.
And the player, definitely the player.
Yeah, absolutely. So the fuzz pedal genre has ended up being something that perhaps guitar players might not necessarily gravitate to as their very first pedal, because something like an overdrive or a distortion will be more controllable and more predictable. But definitely once you begin to get more into your instrument and you want to find those juicy kind of weird fuzz tones, fuzz pedals will do stuff that nothing else does. So should we have a little listen to the Maestro fuzz? Here we go.
And a riff is...
allegedly the first recorded riff.
It's not, you know, it's
supposed to be a Fender Twin and a Maestro fuzz, apparently.
This is kind of I know it's not a Fender Twin, but it's still... I mean, I'll not say it's a pleasant sound. You know what I mean? No, do you know? It's but it's pleasant unpleasant in a cool way.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Maestro fuzz, the original one, is a 1.5 volt battery, basically like a AA style battery.
Yeah.
So you can really hear that the components in here that need that voltage to give it that fatness and saturation aren't getting a lot of voltage.
It's not. So it's very saggy.
As soon as you turn the volume down on the guitar, or even on here.
So I'm now turning. And when you do more than multiple notes together, it doesn't really know which one to pick. It sort of goes, oh, which harmony am I going to pick through that? It's amazing. I like it. It's gnarly, man.
It's super gnarly. Now, in fairness, I'm not sure that the Maestro fuzz necessarily was adopted. You know, as soon as the guys in London and stuff were doing things like Tone Bender, and I think there was there were guys in the States doing their own tweak version, obviously, you know, Mike Matthews, Electroharmonics.
Legend.
I think here is where all of the kind of the really famous kind of fuzz units and all of the replicas from modern day boutique builders are trying to sort of replicate, and more here. I just thought this was fun, A, because it's where it started, and B, because we have an original.
So you have to use it to get it out one time.
So let's start with Tone Bender. This is a Behringer clone of a Tone Bender called a Fuzz Bender. It's probably our most affordable pedal that we've got here.
Yeah.
Its original mode is the most like the original Tone Bender. It's actually based, I think, on a Mark II circuit. But let's have a little listen. It's just all the way up for attack and then level to taste.
I mean, that's usable. You know, that's usable.
There was almost like a Kinks riff straight in there, which would have been perfect for that. You know, you really got me going. You know.
It's probably not that key, but. I mean, that's great.
Any of those kind of Cream. I mean, I don't know if he'd have been more. So that's Tone Bender, and again, Tone Bender. There's loads of clones of the Tone Bender. Then we go into Fuzz Face, which was another classic one based on the original design was supposed to be the round base of a microphone stand.
Yeah.
And then it just had the sort of the volume and fuzz. You'll often hear in fuzz pedals, they talk about, am I using germanium components or silicon components? This is the sort of the transistor that makes the clipping distortion sound.
Yeah.
The red one from Dunlop is using a germanium transistor. The blue one silicon. Germanium, I think, typically was used in the early fuzzes, but there's quite a lot of tolerance difference between one germanium to the next,
huge tolerance,
and it changes depending on how hot it gets. So brands started to move away to silicon transistors just purely because they were more consistent from one to the next.
And I think even the clones use a germanium transistor in it. That's why they
absolutely. So here's the germanium Fuzz Face.
I've got it. I'll try to do that. So
it cleans up nicer.
It cleans up really nice.
I
always loved that pedal. That's great. And this is the mini version of it. You can get the bigger,
absolutely.
The bigger versions of it.
So the blue one, same two controls, volume, fuzz, but a different transistor in it.
It's not the same. They're so different. Just try go between them. Yeah, when you send it all the way down, it gets that.
To be fair with fuzz pedals, they're all so unique. I don't think you obviously we're not changing the amp settings as we change pedal.
Yeah.
You absolutely would. You'd find the sweet spot on your amp for each pedal, and you'll probably find that certain guitars they'll react very differently with
Pickups and
fuzz pedals are also unusual in that they change more perhaps than any other pedal does, depending on what you plug in the front of it and what you plug after it and how it interacts with other pedals.
Yeah, absolutely, and the power and even it's the temperatures.
100%. Yeah.
Especially with the Germanic stuff.
So Big
Germanic.
Muff, I mean, great pedal. Electro harmonics. Mike Matthews created a whole empire of pedals off of the back of the success of this pedal. So this is the Big Muff, the current sort of reissue of the original Big Muff.
His brother Dave Matthews is really popular in. That's interesting. It doesn't turn. It doesn't.
It's not a spitty thing, is it?
And it doesn't go clean. I'm all the way almost down. When you go to here. It's almost like full on all the time, right?
I think the Big Muff inspired that whole generation of like the wall of fuzz tone.
Yeah.
So it's just like really, and again, loads of genres of music adopted that kind of sound. So as you say, it was like a always fat and in your face sound.
Well, no matter what you do, almost.
Great sounding pedal.
It's a great sounding pedal.
I mean, I love the fact, back in the day, all pedals were pointlessly massive like this. You open these things up and there's like a little circuit board about this big inside it. But it was a fashionable, I guess, in the day to do that.
And now...
Oh, good. Right, the editor's life was so easy up until they didn't make a single cut, but now he did. The last one we've got is the Supreme from JHS. Now, again, back in the 60s, a chap called Roger Mayer designed an Octave fuzz, which introduced this sort of harmonic octave along with the note as well. That became super iconic. You can hear that on sort of, Hendrix albums and obviously millions of other artists since as well. We've decided to use the JHS Supreme, which is their Octave fuzz from their sort of Legends of Fuzz series. Let's see if we can get some octave tones for you.
No, we're not playing that. You can hear there's an octave, but when I turn it down, it's the gate is gripping. Whatever. All day long, yeah.
Can't you accentuate the octave by rolling the tones down and stuff on a
I
guitar?
can certainly try. It's definitely there, you can hear it.
Philip Sacey at the end there. Yeah, there are, again, probably some more modern takes on the Octave Fuzz. I particularly like, there's a brand called Fjord Fuzz.
Absolutely.
You've got the
I've
Argo.
got the Argo from
the
Mythos.
Fjord Fuzz is quite cool because you've got two buttons on the pedal, one that switches the fuzz circuit off and then the other that switches the Octave circuit on and off, which is very, very cool. But obviously the original one, you didn't have like a switchable Octave. It was just
also,
one.
Mythos, Zach has done the Octave only.
Yes.
So the Argonaut or whatever you say, that is just the Octave. So you can have that in front of any pedal on your board. So you literally can use. That's great idea,
Well, so look, I mean, like I say, the as you people probably know with pedals now, there's a zillion pedals out there, of which at least 500,000 of them will be fuzz, and most brands will have their sort of updated, modified version. But these are the kind of, I guess, the sort of the forefathers of fuzz. There were other famous brands again from the sort of 60s and 70s, sort of pioneering all this. But I guess this was the vibe. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the Zonk and
Solar Sound. Just
anyway, lots of cool ones. Yeah. But there we are. Did you have a particular favourite, do you think?
I mean, I really just like the standard sort of. I like that one and I like that one. I like that one and that one. I mean, this is for me.
Oz would love this.
Yeah, it's more. I can't really control it, and I do think germanium has got this warmer kind of tone, especially if you start rolling off on it.
Well, look, that's it. We'll play out. I tell you what, we'll play out like we'll play out like we played him, where you just, in fact, grab like a Les Paul and then play a riff, and I'll just go through the 6, and whilst we're playing the riff, and then you get a lovely little flavour of what it sounds like with a different guitar. So yeah, if you want to buy any of these, or you just want to browse our fuzz pedal selection, check the links below.
Exactly, and if you want to check out more guides, we have a blog, and we've got more videos than that, and we'll put the links in the description up here as well. So come on, and please like and subscribe.
Please do. A quick shout out, Gig Rig, by the way, this is just our switching device. You do not need one of these if you just want to get into pedals, but it's fun to have if you have a few.
It's fun.
Okay, grab that Les Paul, Mr. Pete, and we'll see you in another video soon.
Thank you.